Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Brewing e-commerce. Um I'd like to start by saying wishes do come true. And I think the testament of that is the person who is joining us today. I've been chasing, hounding, and doing everything possible to get him on this for quite some time. And so thank you so much, Akshay, for joining us today.
I promise you, I wasn't playing hard to get. Huh? They just let's be clear about that also.
You were not at all. And for the people who don't know and who go through this ordeal of listening to me for the next whatever time, they'll understand why it's so busy to get hold of you. Because as it comes about, this is as big as it gets. And guys, I'd love to introduce Akshay, but I'm not going to be able to do justice. But to tell you, this is the biggest agency and the biggest brand in India, Shebang, which always comes with a huge bang. And Akshay leads the entire organization. So Akshay, why don't we start by introduction? You from you, please.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks for being so kind, Shwetank. You've already put me like on the spot with a lot of pressure now to make this sound really big and much bigger than what it actually is. But yeah, just a quick introduction for myself. My name is Akshay, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Schbang. Schbang has been in operation for the past about 9 years now. We started in January of 2015. Typically started off as a social media creative kind of a shop, and then of course have evolved into providing the whole shebang to our clients. And actually, the word shebang comes from the 17th century phrase called the whole shebang, which means completeness, which means wholeness, which means bringing everything to the table. And that's the ethos with which we actually started Shebang, to provide an end-to-end solution to our clients across all touch points, across all realms of the digital mediums. We also do a lot of offline mainline work as well, but of course digital is at the heart of what we do. We're currently about 1100 people across Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi. We're also present in London and Amsterdam. The aim is to become one of the first Indian agencies to move abroad and start shop in most international countries as well. But I think the last 9 years have been fairly enriching in that sense, because we've run everything from creative media, technology, influencer marketing, branding, research, and I think all of these different kind of experiences have molded myself into becoming who I am today. I'm able to think and sleep and need digital. This is all I do for a living. We work with about 200 brands across the spectrum. A lot of big names like Asian Paints, Castrol, Cipla, HUL, Unilever. A lot of brands in the FMCG space, CPG space. In the technology space as well. So a mix of D2C, a mix of traditional brands, but a whole lot of excitement happening across the board. I think the past 2 years have been fairly nice to us in terms of how brands in India have adopted digital and have been spending a lot more on the platform. So that has been a big growing aspect for us as well, because we've rode the wave of COVID actually. Of course, it was fairly difficult, the COVID times for all of us, but of course, we try to ride the wave and see how we can expand our offerings and expand our teams as much as we can. So I think here we are today in 2023. At a good position with Shebang, and of course, we try to create a Shebang in whatever we do. But yeah, that's a quick introduction about Shebang and a bit about myself.
Thank you. So this is not hard to play, Akshay. This is like 1100 people, 200 plus brands. Okay, so this is crazy. I don't know of any agency which operates in this kind of scale and size, and the kind of customers that you guys manage is insane. And the best part about it is when I see a post of yours, all Herschel's on LinkedIn, the creativity just takes me out of it. Right from the campaigns and how you guys are adopting AI, which we're going to talk about later, etc. I think the whole industry has seen quite a twist and turn since the time you guys started. But how you are able to use technology on your side to deliver that experience, I think is mind boggling, and a lot of us have to learn a lot from it. And I'm hoping the conversation is going to give us a lot of gold nuggets today. So let's start going deep, Akshay, and especially from the only thing I understand just a little bit is the whole D2C space, right? And there was an article that I was reading a few months back which said that in India there are about 50 D2C brands being launched every single day. And in the past 4 to 5 years, we've seen so many brands coming in. I think Shopify is a main place which is helping brands, come and launch much more easily, etc. What's your take? How are you looking at the market, and what do you think is happening with this whole DTC thing in India at the moment?
Yeah, I think if we take a step back and understand why this is happening, right? I think the good thing is India as a population, of course, we're fairly populous as a country overall, as we know, but a very interesting part of our demographic is that it's a very young population, right? It's an entitled population. It's a population which has access to a lot of information, to a lot of data, and again, the word data again spikes up a different conversation altogether because in India, the cost of data is practically free, right? With the entire geo revolutions and of course then pushing the other telecom partners to also bring down the prices
The
substantially.
cheapest data
The
in the world.
cost,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the cost per gigabyte is practically nothing, right? And I think on average, Indians consume about 30 to 35 GB of data every month. That's much higher than United Kingdom. I think UK has approximately under 10 GB of data every month as a consumption, right? And I think that demographic in itself is such a fairly exciting demographic to work towards, right? Because they want, they have access, they need things, and it's no more a saving economy, right? This young population is no more saving like our parents did, right? We are a spending economy. We want to own the best clothes and the best shoes, and we want to have access to entertainment. We want to watch the newest sports on our mobile phones.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's making the entire D2C space really exciting is right that because what D2C actually enables us to do is to give a more personalized, customized experience to the end consumer. It really gives the power of holding the data, giving the power of the entire full funnel in the hands of the D2C brand. I think that's where the entire D2C boom has sort of come in. And of course, players like Shopify only enable us to make this experience a lot simpler and quicker because of how they've built out the platforms to make it more accessible to more and more brands who want to come onto the platform at a fraction of the cost, at a fraction of the time as well required to set up an entire
Yeah.
website from scratch. Right today, I mean, it's literally like you have kids who are under 15 who are making websites, who are doing drop shipping, for example, who are buying and selling online, all completely done through a Shopify website. And the experience is so seamless. The kind of integration you can actually have on the website are absolutely mind blowing, right? So I think coming back to your question, right, that the entire Indian economy has become such that it's a spending economy, it's a young economy, and I think that's giving the right kind of a I would say a platform for D2C brands to sort of thrive onto. And of course, again, India is now the golden goose. Everyone's looking at India to sort of invest money into
Right.
all the Chinese money is moving to India, and of course, it's the D2C the D2C brands who are actually lapping up this money and who are getting a large share of the VC funding coming in as well, right? So I think it's a great time to be here in India and sort of create something completely from scratch. So yeah, I think that's a quick introduction about that.
Yeah, and the whole Shopify ecosystem, right? I don't know if you read a few weeks back, Louis Vuitton kind of moved their store on Shopify, right?
Yeah,
And then we have the biggest brands of Supreme and Kardashian, all Lego, and all that. Just goes to show that making a very good website used to cost like $15,000 maybe 10 years back. Now you can
yeah,
do that for $35, and the whole SaaS model for e-commerce is the perfect place. Gives you the right skeleton and the tools and ammunitions as well. So that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, in fact, like an interesting stat is that approximately, I think what 700 million, people have a smartphone in India, and that number is only going to become, I think, about 1.2 billion in the next 4 to 5 years. Out
Yeah,
of which about 500 million are shoppers online. So, it just goes to show that whatever brand you might be, whatever segment or category you're operating in, you will find a very large subset who's your
exactly.
total addressable market, right? The TAM is actually fairly large. Even if you take, a 1% of a 500 million, that's a fairly large TAM to go
Yeah,
after for
yeah,
any category of products or brands or services or whatever you're out there to sell, right? So I think the good thing about being on digital is the precision marketing you can do. You can actually go out and find the consumer down to the pin code, down to the building that person is working at, down to the designation, right? So also the precision marketing helps in the D2C journey in that case. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit on that further, because that's where I know you guys specialize and do a lot of amazing work. Um, so uh, taking on what you said, that there is a market for different brands, uh, and a VC or an investor, I think kind of hates to hear that we will get 1% of the market, but that 1% of the market is so sizable that it can really do wonders for you in different categories today. But
Yeah,
then also the pie is so big. Yes, it's growing, but the spending power, the amount of money, etc., you're always competing against other brands. So Akshay, how do you think brands need to kind of change their strategy in today's environment to stand out? Because I think that's getting more and more important.
absolutely. So, I think today consumers are always fence sitters, right? They're always on the fence. No one is loyal to a particular brand. No one is loyal to any people as well. I think this
Yeah.
entire swiping culture, the swipe right culture, has made everyone disloyal to, anything that they have, right? So it's sort of become a difficult a marketplace to play in because of how the consumer's behavior also has evolved with time, because they feel like they have access, they feel like they have more than one option for anything they might desire, right?
Yeah.
And I think it holds true for all kind of relationships as well. But I think one thing that really, as a consumer, what we really long for is experience, right? Nothing can really substitute great experience, and I think I can speak on behalf of any consumer, right? You have one bad experience with a particular brand, you have one bad experience with an after sales service personnel, you have one bad experience with maybe product not coming on time or whatever else, you start thinking twice, saying, should I go back to that brand, right? You start looking at alternatives, you start looking at who else is out there who can give me the same or similar product or service. You start looking at alternatives as well, right? So I think, to answer your question, I think the word experience is very, very important. And I think for a consumer, they're always looking at a unified experience across all touch points. I cannot have a different perspective or a different look and feel on my website versus how I behave on my social media handles, right?
Okay.
I need to have a unified experience across all touch points, because the consumer seeing me as a one unified piece, one unified person. Um, and again, I think it comes down to having a great UX. It comes down to how you write your copies, for example. And I can talk about a brand, like say, like how Zomato, right? If you look at all the touch points, the way they talk on social media, to the push notifications, to the emailers, everything has the same tonality. It has the same kind of an output. Of course, the UI UX of the website and the app also needs to be good enough that people can keep coming back and discover new products. But I think it's a lot of the said and the unsaid. It's a lot of the visual and the branding. It's a lot about also the people they're interacting with from the brand side, which really build the overall brand ethos. And I think that's where the experience sort of becomes, very, very important. And again, we're talking to D2C brands again, like, sometimes you have a chatbot. It's also how the chatbot actually talks to the consumer, how the
Yeah.
chatbot's able to also,
Yeah.
it shouldn't sound like a robot. It can't sound like an AI robot who's talking to you in a very, robotic fashion. It needs to have the same pulse of, as I'm talking to a real person. That's why many of brands, for example, will give the chatbot a name. They will call it something. They will call her something, right? It makes you feel like you're actually talking to a real person. And that's the experience you long for when you're actually building a relationship with a brand. You want to humanize it. It can't be robotic, right?
Humanize it. Yes, I love the humanize it. I think the tonality, the way you appear, etc. I think makes all the difference, because again, at the end, we are all as humans trying to buy from humans. Right? That's just traditionally how we are all wired in.
Yeah,
But
yeah. And I think also, just to add on, I think nowadays products are fairly commoditized, right? Like, one to differentiate one product from the other or one service from the other, it they might have like a 19 piece ka farak in a way, right? But it's everything's a commodity nowadays, right? So I think what can really differentiate is that experience that I have with the product or the service or the platform or the website.
yeah.
I think that's what really makes the big difference. And uh, again, for anyone who's trying to start off afresh, I think spend a lot of time, just trying to introspect on what the consumer wants, right? What kind of UI UX works for them? What are
Hmm.
the kind of touch points they want to see? What kind of tonality they want to hear from you? and it's about being obsessed with the consumer, because if you're not obsessed with your consumer, you don't know what the consumer wants, then
Yeah.
you go out and build a palace not knowing who's going to come and stay in the palace, right? So
Yeah.
I think spending those few extra months just trying to understand consumer behavior, consumer journeys, consumer interactions, go and see how they're interfacing with different brands. I think that will itself give you a lot of learnings towards developing something for yourself also.
Indeed. Yeah, a lot of research there, and again, because of now the categories are getting niche, the products are getting much more specific, etc. You really need to understand what kind of problem are you solving,
Yeah,
and I think that's where the combination of everything what you said summed up in the whole humanizing aspect makes all the sense here.
yeah, yeah,
Now let's look at it from that perspective that I'm a small brand. I've just started. I've done my research. I choose Shopify. I pick a niche product, do the development, and I start. And then you would not believe, Akshay, but I've got a few calls, people just calling me and saying, you know what, I want to have AI on my store. And I'm like, so what do you mean? Right? They said, I don't know. I just want AI on my store. That's one. And the second parallels of this is like when I try to demo my product to some people, right? They are on the call and they're like, I want to see AI here. And I'm like, this is being done with AI at the back. Yeah, yeah, but I want to see it. And this is such a contrasting world of whole AI thing. And this question goes to you because you guys are I've seen one of the first agencies who started using the whole mid journeys and the creatives, etc., on the whole AI side of things. So
yeah.
how has been your journey and how do you think this is going to pan the industry?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's important for brands and agencies to start embracing AI, because AI is here to stay, right? It's done with the intention of making our lives a lot more efficient. It's done with the intention of making our lives a lot more quicker, removing redundancies, removing the mundane tasks, and doing things a lot quicker, right? So I think very importantly, if now I keep hearing this saying, and I keep saying this saying as well, that AI will not replace us, but
Yeah,
people who do not embrace AI will be replaced, right?
bang.
It's
Yeah,
as simple as that, right? You need to incorporate AI into your day-to-day business, into your mundane tasks or whatever. But I'll talk about a few ways in which we've been using AI for our D2C as well as for e-commerce overall, right? Maybe 5, 6 points that I can think of, the top of mind. One is we spoke about chatbots, right? I think chatbots plus conversational commerce through chatbots is very, very important. And again, that's a use of AI plus ML, which is able to comprehend what you're saying, is able to comprehend the next question, give you the right kind of options, give the right kind of prompts to actually get an answer or solicit a response from you, right? So I think that's number one. Number two is product recommendations on the website, right? Getting you to bundle products, telling you might be interested in this basis, your past search histories basis, your frequency of purchase, also including smart searches, right? Even in your search bar, for example, if you can start including smart searches, it helps the consumer start coming to the right kind of product landing page a lot quicker also. Again, that's completely done through AI, because the AI is able to understand what have been your last few transactions, what have been your
yeah,
last few searches, again, what have you purchased recently. I think another thing which we also use very often is something called virtual shopping assistants, or like a virtual try on as well, like a VTO, wherein you
yeah,
can actually go and try on, a lip shade, a lip color shade, or like an eyeliner, for example, a hair color, for example, as well. Again, these are done with AI, because they're able to understand your facial features, your facial
yeah.
movements. It's a bit of AI plus AR, VR sort of packed into one, experience to let the consumer know what they will get before they can actually make the end purchase. Um, a lot of D2C brands nowadays, I see they have something called search by image. I think Myntra has it as well, so you can actually take a picture of a product, upload that picture onto the search bar, and it will
Nice.
find the same kind of products inside their catalog. So literally, I might like someone's dress, for example.
Yeah,
I can picture the dress, upload it back on the platform. It shows me relevant, related dresses that look exactly like that dress. So again, it's using AI's understanding the colors, the textures, the material, and giving me recommendations to buy from there. Again, very, very cool. Helps me in my consumer buying journey as well, right? From the perspective of mid journey also, I think when it comes to mid journey, you can actually use mid journey to create flat lay images for your listings page on your e-commerce website. like a flat lay, for example. Instead of doing an expensive shoot, you can go onto Midjourney, generate background images, superimpose the product onto that image, and make it look like it's been done as a photo shoot, right? But it's actually been done using AI plus a bit of generative fill on Photoshop. Again, using AI smartly to have good imagery on your listings page, your PDP listings on the e-commerce platform or on your own D2C website. I think finally from the marketing standpoint as well, like nowadays we use a lot of media-driven AI as well. So like, Meta has something called Advantage Plus Shopping Ads. Google has something called Performance Max or PMax ads. These are all AI-driven advertising, ad units that allow us to get higher conversion rates on the D2C websites by just optimizing consumer journeys, by understanding consumer behaviors, and going after people who are in market to make a purchase of the products that you want to sell to them. So it's a direct synchronization with Shopify, Meta, Google sort of put together
Yeah.
to really drive conversions using AI as a part of marketing. So it's marketing AI as well in that sense. So yeah, I think I've spoken about five or six different AI possibilities over here. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last point that you said, that eventually I think this is reduction of CAC and improving your ROAS, and all that 360-degree thing, kind of thing going on. And all of this, in your experience, is being used today already, right?
Absolutely.
It's already
Yeah.
resulting values,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
think
In
in
fact, like for
yeah,
even stuff like your advantage by shopping or PMax, as advertising mediums or as advertising units give us at least a 15-20% higher conversion rate compared to the other units, right? So it's the platforms themselves giving you AI inbuilt inside the dashboards and allowing you to use that to get better conversions, lower CACs, longer LTVs, all that kind of stuff.
insane. Yeah, yeah. This is amazing. Yeah, yeah. And I think in the next 5 years this is going to be more and more commoditized. At the end of it, more people will have access to this, so it's best to start getting to know these things and getting accustomed
Yeah.
to it. So makes sense. All right. With all the nice brands available, the spending power, the young guys available to buy the products, and AI on our side to help us move faster, get more conversions. Akshay, there's a huge shopping season coming ahead, right? We have all the festivals, and then we have the whole Black Friday and everything coming up. And I know Black Friday is the annual, 4 month mecca event everybody plans for. So, any tips or any things that you think brands need to kind of think on and be ready for?
I think again 5-6 points I can think of over here, right? One is the thing is the festive seasons are all sacrosanct. You know exactly when Diwali is going to come. You know exactly when Dasara is going to come. You know exactly when Ganesh Chaturthi is going to be there. So you got to prepare and plan beforehand. And I
Yeah,
think that's the most important thing, right? You know that
right.
October, November, December are the peak months for sales, for spending. The consumer behavior changes, right? You start thinking of spending more. You don't mind loosening your purse strings a little bit more to buy something more, to buy a new car, maybe to buy, additional clothing, cosmetics. People are buying sweets, they're gifting. So I think planning in advance is very, very important because these months do not change, these dates do not change. So you got to be pre-planned, right? Um, I think from that perspective, I think you need to start working on customized festive communication. Very importantly, and this customized festive communication has to go across all touch points. Like the way like a great Indian Amazon sale talks, like the Flipkart Big Billion Day. So they talk the same language across every touch point where the consumer is present on, right? So you got to have a customized communication that has festivities inbuilt into it. Use words like tyohar, use words like festivity, because that's the mood of the entire nation in those couple of months. You can also make a website look festive, right? Many D2C brands now, they see that, you come onto the website during Diwali, you'll see these firecrackers going off. You'll have these, full juddies being lit every now and then. So I think that giving that entire festive sort of experience even on the website is an extension towards the festival, right? Um, Again, I think bundling plays a very, very big part of the strategy also, because people are in that mind space to spend. The more you can prod them, the more you can discount, the more you can do giveaways, offers, loyalty programs. Actually, again, go a long way in creating the conversion, because people are in market to shop. People are coming with the mindset of, I know exactly what I want. Just give me something more for me to convert. And I've
Right.
seen this again with many brands like who are again marketplaces, right? People will wait for they will add to cart, they will wait for the festive season to come because they know for a fact that they will get some additional freebie, some additional 10, 15% off or whatever, some cashback they'll get. And then they will check out during that time. So, feed into that consumer behavior, feed in, give them that additional 10% off because the moment you do that, the conversion is bound to come. They're waiting for that. So do it, give it to them, right? Um, I think gifting guides is very important as well. Gifting again in this period becomes very important. People are looking to gift. You're always going to friends' houses, you're going to families' houses. You want to gift. You want to gift your family. You want to gift your loved ones something for the season, right? So I think if you can create like a gifting guide, again bundle up products together, make it into like a nice gift bag kind of a thing. Not only are you increasing the chances of spends, but also increasing the average order value, right? The basket price goes up. The CAC somewhere comes down because your cost per conversion somewhere also becomes much higher in that sense. Somewhere lower in that sense. But eventually, if you can just make them bundle, sell them something more, upsell something more, I think that's a great way of also increasing your average order value.
Yeah.
I think lastly, something that we use very often during the festive season are something called the influencer marketing space as well, wherein we incentivize influencers to help us sell the product. So we
Right.
will give every influencer a customized promo code. Now,
Mm.
because I own the D2C website, because I have complete control, I can create a customized promo code to every.
This is those are amazing tips. I think a combination of that kind of really helps in bringing the whole thing out together. And I love the way you started it. Brings me back to a story like 15 years back. We were trying to do a project in Spain, and some other customer came up and he said that we need to launch this for Christmas. And I go to my internal teams and I tell them, they want this. And I remember one product project director, he came up and said he didn't know Christmas is on 25th of December. Why is it coming up now? We should have come up before. So there is no too much planning when it comes to festival season, Black Friday, etc. And I think every minute that brands put in, it's worth the conversion and revenue that they can make. So that's great. um, I'd love to keep on chatting, Akshay, but of course, in the interest of time, the last thing I want to ask is, because I'm in the UK, what kind of bang is Schbang planning to make in the UK? What's happening? What are your plans? And what should we guys sitting on this side of the world be excited about? Yeah. No, I love your line. Get a bit of shebang on your side, Akshay. This is how the cool creative should be all over. I think I'm going to make a creative on the podcast around this as well. So it sounds really good. Well, perfect, Akshay. I think thank you so much for your time. It was really nice and pleasure to host you. Get a lot of peek into how the large business and the whole D2C thing is being run by you guys, and the direction the market and everyone needs to kind of think about, because that's just inevitable. The best is to go and adapt, and then you see the results positively on that direction. So really appreciate your time. And because we kind of liked you so much, we're going to bother you again in a few months to come back. And we all love the whole shebang in our lives. So thank you. Oh, would love that. All right. Thank you.